Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, anywhere you are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, so you're all welcome to this session. So my name is Steven, and basically this session we are going to be taking basic concepts of HTML. So on the curriculum, on the schedule in the LMS, we have core concept of HTML, right? But it's basically going to be basic concepts of HTML. So this session is going to be an interactive session, as you all know. It's a live session, and I expect that you should have watched some of the content released on the LMS based on the front end, I mean the HTML. So this session will be for questions and answers. If you have any question concerning any problem you faced while coding in HTML, so we are all free to unmute and speak. So, and if you want me to teach an aspect of HTML that is not very clear to you, you are also entitled to speak. So I hope that's clear to everyone, please. Okay, so we are going to continue from there. And as well, I'll be sharing my screen just to show you some of the stuffs we have in HTML, the basic concept of HTML, the structure, and also some of the elements and tags of HTML. So I'll be sharing my screen now. Please give me a minute. Also, have anyone attempted the assignments? I mean the MCQ. We have attempted it, please. You can let me know. Okay, so I'll be sharing my screen now. All right, so can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you. So basically, I believe you should have some tools which are very necessary for the development, I mean the HTML coding. So like your VS Code, your browser, and some other tools that are essential. I think you should have learned about that. So this is the VS Code, an IDE that we are going to be using to develop websites. So starting from HTML, so all you need to do to start a project is to create a folder. Then after creating a folder, you can open your folder directly from your VS Code right here. So I'm very sure you can all create a folder, but if you can't create one, there are different methods, there are different ways of creating a folder. So you can either use your terminal to create a folder, or use your Windows, can come to the home page. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to like disable this.
Recording in progress.
You are not muted, please. Just... Okay, so you can all create a folder by right-clicking on your desktop like this and giving your folder a name. So you can give your folder any name, like HTML basics. So after creating a folder, this folder will be directly installed. It will be directly uploaded to your computer. Please, I think someone is still not muted. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. Please, this
Okay.
class is we urge everyone that is not muted to mute, please. It's just 1 hour so that we can gain something.
Okay. So please, if you are not muted, please mute yourself. Thank you. So to open a new folder that you've created now, all you need to click on is this open folder link here on your VS Code. So after clicking on that, then you choose the folder you are going to be using. So you choose the folder you're going to be using. Right now, I just created the folder called HTML Basics. So after choosing the folder, then you select the folder. So right now, the folder is now uploaded on my VS Code. The folder is now uploaded on my VS Code. So from there now, after opening your folder in your VS Code, all you need to do is to create HTML file. And to create a file is a very simple method, just by clicking on this icon right here. So when you click on this icon that says new file, you'll be able to open your HTML file. And there is a naming convention for HTML files. That is, any name you want to give it, it must end with .html. So for example, I can say index.html. So this is how to give your HTML file a name. So basically, it can be anything .html. It can be food.html, house.html, it can be anything, but it must end with .html. So this is how HTML files are named. And from there, we have our HTML file. We have our HTML document. So from there now, we can then start with the HTML boilerplate. So before you start writing every or any HTML code, you need to start with the HTML boilerplate. So this is just like the very first thing you need to do after creating your HTML file. So how do you create your HTML boilerplate? There are different methods of initializing your boilerplate. So for example, you can run a short command like shift1, that is your exclamation mark. So this is an image. This image abbreviation will generate the HTML boilerplate for you. So if I hit on enter now, the HTML boilerplate is now generated for me. So this is how to generate your boilerplate. This is one of the methods that you can use to generate your boilerplate. That is by doing exclamation mark, then enter. So, and also if you don't want to use that, you can type out HTML 1 by 1, then choose HTML5. So HTML5 is the newest version of HTML. So when you choose HTML5, it will generate the same boilerplate for you. To generate the same boilerplate for you. So those are the two shortcuts you can actually use to generate your HTML boilerplate. So don't forget, this HTML boilerplate is the first thing you need to do while writing your HTML code. It is a very basic thing you need to do. So because it generates your HTML structure to you. So is there any question on what I've talked about so far? Does anyone have any question? If there's any question, please. And also, can you still see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a question. I don't know if somebody else have indicated.
Okay. Please go ahead.
Okay. My question is, I'm new to this. I think I joined a few minutes late. The VS Code the way you the boilerplate that you said that you can press the shift 1 to bring out, is it because it's VS Code or any other IDE also does same thing?
That's a good question. Basically, I think this image abbreviation is inbuilt for VS Code. Other IDs might actually have their own image. But for VS Code, I think basically it is exclamation mark. So that's it for VS Code. Can use the exclamation mark for it. But for some other IDs, I think there are some other images that you can use as well. So I don't know if that's clear enough.
I have a
Okay,
question.
that's clear. Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay, go
Like
ahead, please.
those using JetBrains, can they use this Emmet?
No, I think it's different. It's different from VS Code.
Okay,
Are
thank
you
you.
more familiar with JetBrains?
No, I'm using VS Code. I'm asking for others.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Any other
following on
question,
that
please?
question, sorry. So those of us who got the free WebStorm trial, how do we follow along, or do we have to still download the VS Code and then teach ourselves WebStorm on the side? I'm just trying to understand.
Basically, WebStorm is just like an idea. VS Code is also very good. It's a very good IDE that you can also use for coding. And I think it's more like easy to navigate around. So if you can just get yourself familiar with VS Code, I think VS Code is fine.
How do we then set up the, because my own is bringing plenty things on the screen of the VS Code, and it's not just as yours.
Okay, you mean how to set up your VS Code?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So basically doing installation, I don't think there are any complex steps after installing your VS Code. So all you need to do, I think all they will ask you is just to choose your theme. Yes? All they will ask you to do is to choose your theme and then maybe dark theme or light theme. Then from there, it will be okay and normal like this. So basically, a tutorial will be on how to download VS Code on its own, which should be uploaded on the LMS. Do you understand me?
I already have VS Code installed on my system.
You can install VS Code by going to your Chrome or any browser you're using and type in VS Code download. So from there, you can see the download link. So you can download it according to your preference. I mean, if you're on Windows, if you're on Mac or Linux. So you can download VS Code by navigating to VS Code download on your browser. Is that fine?
Yes. Thank you.
So as I've said earlier, a tutorial will be uploaded on your LMS on how to fully download VS Code and set it up.
Okay.
So does anyone have any other question, please?
Not for now.
Okay. So from there now, we have our HTML structure. So this might be looking weird right now, but this first line, as you can see here, line 1, we have something like doc type. This doc type is just like telling us the type of documents this is. So in another form, you can say document type. So, and the type of this document is what? It is HTML. That is why HTML is following the doc type. So this doc type only appears once in your VS Code, in your HTML file. Please mute yourself. I think the noise is coming from. Please, yeah, if you are. Hello, can you hear me? Please mute yourself so that others can also hear clearly.
Hello, sir. Please, can you mute everyone, please?
Okay, coming. Okay, so basically, you can continue now. So as I was saying, doc type appears only once in your entire code, and it appears at the top of your documents. It's telling the VS Code this document is HTML. So from there now, we move to the next line, which is the HTML. So this HTML is just like the root elements of your VS Code. Like the root element of your VS Code. Please, I'm trying to, let me see if I can mute. I don't know if I don't think, okay, I can actually mute them from here. Someone.
Please unmute yourself, or we can't hear you. Hello, sir. You are muted. We can't hear you. Hello, sir. Kindly unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
He may know and he may be doing something. You can just say that through message. I think it's better.
I just didn't want to assume. That's the reason. I'm aware of that reasoning. Thank you anyway for the emphasis. Seems like he's having trouble with his, I don't know.
We can't hear you.
I can see the screen that he's, okay, he's
Sorry,
unmuted now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, welcome back, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. So back to this. So this is HTML. After the doc type, we have the HTML tag. Next. So this HTML type is just like the root of your HTML document. You can see when you hover on each element here, it gives you more information, more description about what that element is, the function of that element in your file. So it represents the root of your HTML elements. So, and these lang attributes, this language you can see here, this lang stands for language, and it is an attribute of this HTML. That is, it defines the language of the element, which is English. So inside the HTML, you can see when I click on it, this is the opening tag, and at the end, we have the closing tag. Opening tag and the closing tag. So HTML is full of elements. Some are self-closing and some have opening and closing tags. So for example, now this HTML element has opening and closing tag. So this is the opening tag, while this is the closing tag. And the major difference there is that the closing tag has the /, while the opening tag doesn't have that. So that's how to differentiate between the opening and closing. So every element, most of the elements in HTML have closing and opening tag. So HTML is just like this, just like having your tag name. Then this is the opening tag. This tag name is just like an example. Then inside this, you have your content. The content goes here. So this is your opening tag, while this is your closing tag. The closing tag, we have the /. So that's how to differentiate between the two tags in every element. So from there now, inside HTML, we have the head. Inside the head, we have the title and some meta tags. So we have the title and some meta tags. So the structure is just like this. HTML is the root. Inside HTML, we have head and we have body. Head stops here. This is the closing tag for head. And after head, we have body here. So what happens in your head? So it's just like head is representing metadata for your documents. Metadata for your documents. So, and inside this, we have the title. So the title will be the title of your website. That is a short or brief description of what your website is all about. So if your website is a shopping website, it can be something like a shopping website. So just a short description of your website. So that's what will be in your title, just like when you're writing a letter or something. So you have the head, and majorly inside the body, that's where your content, all the content you want to display on your browser, that's where it will be. That is, every content you want to be visible to others on your website must be inside your body tag. So this is the body tag after the head tag, body tag. So inside the body tag, then all your elements can then start going in there. So I'm going to start with a simple element. So we have so many elements in HTML, but we can just start with something like H1, the heading tag. So we have heading tags in HTML. So heading tags, which ranges from heading 1 to heading 6. So we have from heading 1 to heading 6, and they are represented by H1 to H6. H1 to H6. So how do we write the headings? How do we create our heading elements now? Just by writing H1 or heading 1. So heading 1 is the biggest. So H1 can say this is heading 1. So this is your heading 1. This is how to create it. And heading 2, H2. So they are represented like that. Heading 2, heading 3, heading 4, like that. So how do we preview all what you have been doing on the website, on the web page? This is still like, everything we are still doing is still like in the background. How do we actually see what we have done on the web page? So basically, you can't leave contents like this without putting them in any tag. So since I'm using this to explain, I'm going to comment it out. I'm going to comment it out like this. So what are the work of comments? Comments is just like used to explain different parts of your code base. So for example, you want to, for example, what I've done here, that is this to show anyone reading my code or you that you are looking at my code that, okay, under these comments, I have heading tags, different heading tags. So these comments are just generated by doing Ctrl//. So you select what you want to comment, then you hit on Ctrl//. Then it will comment it out and give it another color. So this will never show on the browser. Others won't see it on the browser. Only people who check your code will see that. And it is used to like make your code more readable and clearer. So now let's preview what you have been doing on the browser now. So to preview what you have been doing, there's an extension you need to install on your VS Code called Livesaver. Livesaver. So to install the extension, excuse me, let me reduce this. So to install an extension, so extensions are just like tools that can help to aid your development process. So to install an extension, all you need to do is to click on this extension box right here. So when you hover on them one by one, you see the extension box down here. Then, or if you can't see it, you can do Ctrl+Shift+X. Then extension will open. So here you can search for different extensions that you need. So just search for Livesaver, then you can download Livesaver if you haven't. So this is how Livesaver looks like. You can see it has over 47 million downloads. So you can just install it. So after installing it, then you'll be able to preview your work on the browser. So now let's try, because I have it downloaded already, I have it installed. So I won't be installing it from scratch again. So, but in your case, if you haven't installed it, just click on install and you will have the extensions to like preview your work on the browser. Okay, so from there now, to preview the work after installing your live server, you need to click on this go live. This go live will be showing down here. You can see it is saying click to run live server. Click to run live server. So when I click this now, this code will open on my browser. You can see what we've created so far, the heading 1, the heading 2. So that's what we have on our browser. And most importantly, this commented line is not showing on the browser. So does anyone have any question at this stage?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I have my question goes like this. Because we're using VS Code in a situation where you are working with multiple developers and they are using different IDEs, would that be a problem? I'm just asking. Just, I don't know if you understand my point. Hello?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Okay. Yes, I understand you.
Okay.
Different developers can actually use different IDs. Doesn't change anything about your code.
Okay.
As far as you are both, yes, as far as you are all collaborating with your GitHub, doesn't change anything. Doesn't affect the development.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Does anyone have any other question relating to HTML? What you've done
Okay,
so far?
sorry, yes, please. I do have a question. Firstly, your name is Toby, right? I just want to be on a first person name basis, so I would know who I'm interacting with.
Please, I'm actually Steven.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So sorry for the
Mm.
confusion. Nice to meet you,
Yeah.
Steven. Please, my question is not necessarily on HTML, but just like general, because I know that we have JetBrains IDE, and right now we are working on VS Code. Are we like in like future, anyways, like later ahead, are we going to have any lecture on how to use the webstone? Because like me now, I'm like a new person on this space, but I've done my own research. So most of the things you're doing here, it's just like revision for me. So, but I'm just asking because I don't know how to use the webstone application. But I do have a little bit of experience with VS Code. So would we have any class on how to use Webstone and all the other platforms that are inside it? So that's just my question.
Okay.
I think Toby is,
Let me take that.
Okay, Toby, please continue.
Okay. Yeah, about the JetBrains, there will be tutorial on. I think there should even have been a tutorial on how to navigate through JetBrains. But one thing about I'll tell you for the fact is, as a developer, no IDE should be an issue. They are all the same thing. Like the way it's been navigated can just be different, but the code you're writing on it are trying the same thing. Some of them might have various extensions that can fasten your work, but the way you navigate, so you don't have to make a specialty to say, okay, the coder is actually using VS Code. Whatever code you write, if you put it on your JetBrains, it would work perfectly. So you don't have to either say, okay, because it's in VS Code, I need to download VS Code. There are several IDEs, although this training will majorly advised that you use JetBrains because they give free coupons that are like getting what you should pay for free, which is what JetBrains actually gave to us also. So even though it's using VS Code, it's advised that you should use JetBrains, and whatever code you're writing should get equal response from it. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yes, please, it does. But sorry to take you back. You said that there should have been a video on how to navigate on Webstone. I don't think that video has been uploaded yet. I've not
Okay,
seen
before
any
the end
video.
of this week, there should be a video on that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I appreciate Toby. I appreciate Steven. So that's all my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Hello,
Toby.
hello, Stephen.
Okay,
Please, I have a question.
yes, go ahead.
Yeah, please. I need I need to know how you do your shortcuts. I saw you put H1, then you highlighted it. I want to know what you did for it to be enclosed in a tag, please.
Okay. Do you mean this or all the tags I've created here?
I saw you did it with H1 and H2. You didn't start with the tags. You just did you wrote H1, then highlighted it. Then I don't know what you did, and the tags came on them. The same thing you did with the comments, but I wanted to know with the H1, H2 tags and all the other tags that you worked around.
Okay, I get you. So basically, that's just like VS Code for you. When you click on H3 and enter, or you choose it with your cursor. So when you choose this with your cursor, it will create it for you. So just know the tags and just type them out. H4, then you choose it. They're just like inmates. You choose it. So I think, does that answer your question? And for the comments, as I've said, is control / or you had your dash dash at the back. Okay. Any other person?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Based on the brain jet installation, which one are you going to install? Is it on the community one or ES1?
Okay. So basically, I would just like to make the answer general. So as Toby has said, a tutorial will be created on how to use JetBrains. So I don't know if you can just wait till then. Probably a tutorial or a live class will be hosted, because I can see there are tons of questions on the IDE part. So we look into that, and a tutorial will be taken care of.
Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, sir.
Hi. Hi, Stephen.
Yes.
I just want to quickly ask, when you selected the go live, did you do you have to do any settings with this live server thing? Because when I selected go live, it took me somewhere on my browser, but it doesn't show any of my any of the things enclosing the heading tags. And my code looks exactly like yours. So I was wondering if there was an additional setting I needed to do. It just shows me a / and
Oh, probably you are missing something. You know, I can't see your code yet. It's probably you are missing something. So all you need to do is just install the extension and go live. That's the basic thing there. So I don't know if you can reach out to me after the call on Slack. Maybe
okay,
you could
all
look
right
at
then.
it. Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yes. Okay. So that's about that. And where we
Evening,
stopped
sir.
was, yes, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. Please, I just have an observation and a question at the same time because I was a bit late to the lecture. I just want to
Okay.
ask you the practice of addressing our tutor by their first name. Is it something you established, or individual can just simply subscribe to their preferred form of address?
Oh, that's actually not in line with what you're learning, but it's fine actually. You can call me Steven.
No, my question was, it something you established yourself?
No, it's not established. I think it's just a normal thing. So it's just normalized like this. That's how I met it, and I've attended some other tutorials like that we both address each other as with our first names. I think it's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Or anyway. So it's cool.
Okay.
Excuse me.
That is around. Like
What do you say?
addressing with, I said opening the field will not be penalized like addressing with the other way around, like using the
No,
title. Okay,
no,
sir.
that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all.
Okay, thanks, sir. Thanks.
As much as possible, let's just try to focus on the concepts we are trying to like gain. I mean, on the learning. So, any other question, please?
Yes, I have a question.
I think that will be the last one before we move on.
I have a question.
Let's go ahead, please.
Yeah, please, about that WebStorm, they mentioned something about coupon. So I was unable to get mine. So I don't know if the
Okay.
next meeting for the WebStorm we are going to do or anything like that. I don't know if
Yes.
getting that coupon is
There
necessary or
there will
not.
be a session for that. There will be a session for that. Thank you.
Okay, good.
Yes. To be announced. Thank you. So you can move on from there. So these are the headings from heading 1 to heading 6. So as you can see, heading 1 is the biggest, heading 2 is the biggest, and heading 1 is the biggest, followed by heading 2, followed by heading 3. So if you continue that way to heading 6, it will be increasing. The size will be decreasing. So that's how headings work. So you can say heading 4 is smaller. So from there now, heading 4. So from there now, we also have some other elements like your paragraph elements. So paragraph is represented by p tag. And another thing about HTML is that it is not case sensitive. So you can either use your capital letter or small letter, but it is more readable when you use your small letter. You can use your capital letter P or use your capital letter H1 or capital letter any elements. So HTML is not really case sensitive. So or in this case, I'll be using small letter all through. So this is a paragraph, and it looks like this on the browser. So you can see the difference between a paragraph and your normal heading tags. So the paragraph is not as bold as your heading or as large as your heading one. So that's the difference between your paragraph and your heading tags. So there are a lot of heading tags. We have some other heading tags that are self-enclosing tags. So for example, we have the BR. So the BR is like for breaks. BR stands for break, for line breaks. So you can see this BR now, it doesn't have your closing tag, just like your P tag. P tag has closing tag and opening, closing. But this BR is not having any closing tag. Yes. And what is the work of BR? BR can be used in between other tags. For example, you can use it here. When I put BR here, it will break the statement into another line. The paragraph into another line. So that's why they call it line break. Line break. So let's see how it works on the browser now. You can see it breaks the paragraph to another line just because I put the BR in between the sentence. In between the sentence right here. So that's BR for you. And then there are some other elements that we also have. We also have something like your list. To list different items, we have limited time. That's why I'm just trying to touch as much elements as possible. So to list items in your HTML, you can use something like your UL or OL. So now, lists. We have different types of lists. We have the unordered list, and we have the ordered list. So your ordered list in such a way that probably you want to list items and you list them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But when I talk about another list, that is lists that are not really ordered, that are maybe they are highlighted by using bullet points or using circles or using your dash. So those are another list. That's the difference between another list and ordered list. So let's see how they work right here. So the element goes by like this, UL for unordered. UL, unordered list. So inside your UL, you can now have your list items. So you can now have your list items. So I can have my first list item by using li. So this li stands for list as well. By using li, so you can say food, then you can have another li inside this. So you can say bag. So this is just like a nested element. So LIs can be nested inside your UL. So this UL in this case is like the parent element. Like the parent element. So inside this, you now have your list items. So the UL is telling the VS Code that, oh, these are items that are not ordered. So inside this, you now list the items. So these are the list items, the first list item, the second one. Then from there, you can have your third one. So like this. So when we go to our browser now, let's see how that is actually reflecting. So you can see these are your list items now. And they are what? They are unordered because they are actually ordered using bullet points. They are listed using bullet points. So actually you can edit these bullets to other shapes. You can use square. That's when you get to styling. So you can use square, you can use other shapes to list your another list. But that will be done using CSS in the upcoming sessions. So that's how list work. I mean, another list. So same as your order list, very similar to that. So I'll just duplicate this and then I'll change this to OL. OL for ordered list. So I'll change this UL to OL. So as the name goes, OL, like this. So I can now say, let's say one. I can say two. So this OL now, the only thing I change there is just the U, then it is changed to OL. So when we check the browser now, this will be listed using 1, 2, 3. That is, they are ordered. They are ordered according to the numerical 1, 2, 3. So I think that's how OL and UL work. So is that clear to everybody? Do you have any question on that?
Yes, sir.
Anyone have
I have a
Okay.
question.
Yes. What's that, please?
In whereas that 1, 2, 3 you use, you want to use an alphabetical order. Is it possible?
Yes. That's possible when you start doing your, and also you can list yourself using your alphabetical values. At least you can do something like this, like you can do something like this yourself. So, but when you get to more concepts of HTML, it will be highlighted there. So, is any other question? Any other question?
Yes, I have one question.
Okay. Please go ahead. I can't hear you again. Alaji, please.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. I said the li used before the 1, 2, 3. The li.
Yes.
So,
Each,
yeah,
yes.
yes. And my question is it for when you went to the website, does it indicate for the numbers like the 1, 2, 3 there? Like it's
Yes.
not for the letters or the numbers in general. Do they indicate
Okay.
for the 1, 2, 3 in the website?
Okay.
Or is it because you wrote the 1, 2, 3 in letters that indicates
Oh,
that website?
I'm
Do
sorry
you
about that.
understand me?
Yes, that can be confusing.
Okay, yes, that's what I want to get now because I was following
No,
it up very well.
no. So that will still, if you use any other letters, it will still give you 1, 2, 3. Not because I wrote those in alphabet or something like that, or those
Okay,
words.
okay.
Yes, it can work that way.
All right.
All right. So that's that about ordered list, and at the same time, we also have another element called image. So most websites we see nowadays, they have images in them. They have images of different shapes and all that. So, but basically to add image to your website, all you need to do is to use your image tag. So image tag doesn't have a closing, image element doesn't have a closing tag, but it has some attributes. So let's see how image element works. So image is by using your img, then enter. So you can see this is also different from our previous opening and closing tag. So img is a self-closing element. So, and you can see as we have here, we have the src attributes and we have the alt attributes. SRC attributes and the alt attribute. So SRC, inside SRC, there are both attributes of image tag, but SRC actually stands for source. So this source is where you will insert your image URL or the path that leads to your image. So for example, I can just go to any image websites and just grab any image. So I can just go to, let's say pixels.com. Pixels have different images. So I just want to grab an image address and try to use it in our website. So I can just grab this one right here by right-clicking on it, then copy the image address. So there are different ways you can insert your image in your website. So you can copy the image address. You can as well save the image into your folder. So this is the option to save image. So after saving, you can move it into your folder. Or another fast method is to copy image address. So, but the more reliable method is to save your image into your working folder, your working directory. I mean, my working directory right now is HTML basics. So you can save your image into the working directory or copy the image address. So I'll use the first method by copying the image address. Note, do not copy image. Instead, copy image address. You have copy image there, and we have copy image address. So you have to copy the image address and insert it where? Inside the source. Don't forget, this is telling us that the image URL will be inside this source attribute. So this attribute is mandatory for the image element. So now I'll just paste what I've copied inside it. So I've pasted this inside this, and the image is now inserted into our website. So let's check how that looks like on the web page. Can you see that? The image is quite big, right? Very, very big. So we can just do a simple styling right now. A simple CSS by just specifying the width and height of our image. So you can specify the width. You can say it's 100 pixel. Please don't worry about this. You are still coming to this 200 pixel, and you can specify the height of your image as well in your HTML attributes. So you can specify the height as well. So when I go to the browser now, this is how it is looking like, width and height. So this is just like HTML styling. So width and height. So I've made it smaller. So it was very big earlier. It was covering up the whole viewport, the whole space. But by giving it a specified width and height.
Sir, please can you recap?
What do you say?
Can you please recap the image, the reducing of the image?
Okay. So as I've said, you are just to create your image tag using img. Then copy your image address into the src, which is the source. So that's where your image URL will be placed. Then after that, You can also specify, if your image is too big, you can specify your width and height. So if you have not done anything about, if you are not very familiar with CSS or styling before, just see this as your normal rectangle sides, like your width and height. So, and the pixel is just like your measuring unit, just like your centimeter. So, but in these concepts now, pixel is just like a centimeter, while width and height is just to specify how wide you want it to be or how long you want it to be. So width and height. So that's just simple HTML styling. So you're still going to be doing more of the styling, whereby you can make your image rounded, you can make your image circular with CSS. That will be in the future classes. So this is just a simple one just to reduce the size of the image. So that's how the image is actually imported into the code. Copy the image address and insert into the SRC. So another method I said is that saving the image. So let's grab another image and save it to our working directory. So you can click on save image as, then you can actually save this. Let me just save this in. Actually, you can look for your directory, your folder, and save it inside your folder. So this is the folder right here. So you can save the image into your folder. So the image is now right. It should be right here now. So you can see the image is now right inside my folder. So from there now, let's just create another image tag for those that didn't get how I imported the other one. So image tag, img, enter. In your SRC, now that we have saved it into our working directory, we are not importing any image address again. We want to put this inside the source. So all you need to do is to do something like /. So this /, you look to the part of the image, to look for the part of the image. So where's the part which is free photo of so. So just start by doing /, then choose your file. And this is the image right here at the top. So I will choose it. Then my image is imported. So when I go to the browser now, we have another image. So we have another image right here, and it's looking like this. So that's that about importing image by saving or by copying your image address.
Sorry, I have a quick question to this.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, the / that you added at the image source, what if you decide to go to where the image is on your computer local file direct path, and then you copy the path, and then you come to paste it here? Is it a different way, or why is it that this particular one you use / and then the team brought options? What if it didn't bring the options of the image? What if the image is saved in a particular place in your computer folder?
So basically, as I was saying earlier, said you can save your image. You should save your image inside your folder, the folder that you're working with, not anywhere on your computer. So if you
Okay.
save it in your folder, in your project folder, it will make it easier for this SRC to locate the image. So if you save it somewhere, maybe in your downloads, in your file explorer or anywhere, you might not find it easy to import it. So this is the easiest way. Save it in your project directory, in your working directory, then use your /. So this // you bring all the parts that is available in your HTML basics, which is the name of the folder. To bring everything, you can see is even bringing HTML, not compulsorily the image. It will bring every file or folder that is available in that directory. So that's why we have this here. So we are running out of time. So that's how to import this. And if you can see here, I didn't mention the alt in the first one we created, but alt stands for alternative. So this alternative it is used to give a text description to your image. So if you put anything, this alternative is not really important. It's not affecting anything so much like that. If you put it, if you not put it, your image will still show. But for the sake of probably network issues or anything affecting your image, probably if I remove this now, and you want your user to know that, okay, right here, we are supposed to have an image. So because this URL is affected, don't forget, I removed the G in JPEG. Because this JPEG is affected now, the image won't show. But what we show is the alternative text. So this alternative text is just working in cases whereby your image is affected or is not showing. Your image is not showing, probably maybe network issues or the path to the image is not existing. So the image alternative text will be showing there. So it can also work for the first one. Let's just say image 1. So if I cancel out something here, or maybe I affect the URL so that the image will not show, you see it will also show image 1. So alternative text works that way. But if everything is working fine, if your image is working, nothing is affected, your alternative text will never show. Your image will be showing upright. Very good. So that's how the alternative works. So the alt in your image tag is also an attribute. So is there any question on what we've treated so far? So these are just the easiest HTML elements that you can ever come across. So these are the easiest HTML elements that you can ever come across: your paragraph, your headings, your list, your image, and some other elements as well. So please, is there any question at this stage?
Hi, yes. First of all, first question is, why might some of your code be red? Would that indicate that it's wrong? And how do you fix it?
Okay, where your code might be red. I don't get you.
Like the color has changed. So for example, the image source, the first line of code I wrote was fine, and then the second one, I highlighted the image red, and
yes.
Yeah, I wondered why. So it changed from blue to red.
Okay, you mean your personal code?
Yes.
Oh, yes, you might be getting something wrong then.
Okay. And then is it possible to go over the file structure again, like the folder structure? I think there's something wrong with how I've organized my folder. Thank you.
Okay, okay. It's quite simple enough. Just we have just 2 files so far. So well, I'll be pushing this code to GitHub. You can actually have a look at it. You can actually have a look at the code base and the file structure. Does anyone have any other? Okay,
I have a
please go ahead.
Yeah, we are not familiar with Git basis.
Okay, you are not familiar.
Yeah, with Git basis.
Me too.
Or GitHub.
GitHub.
Yeah.
Okay, tutorial on GitHub has not been taken.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think later this week, GitHub is coming up. Just watch out. Yes?
Yes, sir, please. I just want to seek an advice from you, sir. Are you with me, sir?
I'm with
you. Hello, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you.
Yes, sir, please. I just want to seek an advice. Because as a beginner,
yes,
because I noticed that some of us are using this JetBrains IDE text editor. So, and I noticed that you as a tutor, you are actually taking notes with VS Code. And I think you also talk about the rigidity of JetBrains. So considering the fact that VS Code is flexible, is it just advisable as a beginner just to stick to VS Code instead of using the complex one?
Can I answer the question?
Yeah,
Yes,
please that's
we are using two text editor, the VS Code and the JetBrains.
I think someone wants to answer the question.
Yeah,
Huh?
I think those people that got the coupons for JetBrain, they should use it. Because I think if they don't use it, JetBrain, they might feel bad about the thing and might not give out coupons for the next batch. I think that's how I see it.
Basically, if you think you are not flowing with JetBrains, you getting the coupon code or anything doesn't mean. If you are more familiar with VS Code, if you find VS Code more easier to navigate around, just switch to VS Code. Is by choice actually. So JetBrains won't actually force you to use their own ID. So VS Code is a popular one here. So as a beginner, if you start with VS Code, there's no problem.
Oh, this was
So any other question, please? Any other questions, suggestions?
Hello, sir.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining this session. And please don't leave yet, as Toby will be taking over right now.
Sorry, I have a
Toby,
question.
I was just
Is Toby
about to ask.
okay?
Okay,
Yeah, what?
that covers. No, that covers.
cool.
I was surprised you're going first. You're supposed to take us around 7 p.m. and Toby is supposed to take us by 4. So it was, but then since it's coming on now, that's fine. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have
Sorry,
a question.
I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead. I think we can just raise hand now. I think so many people want to talk. If you want to talk, just raise a hand. So to be clearer that way. Okay, go ahead, please.
Can I go first? Can I go first?
Yes, you can go.
All right, I'm just joining. Network has actually been bad. So I don't know. Can I get the recorded class?
The class is recorded. You'll be getting the
recorded.
record. Yes, and the
Okay,
class is also still on.
Okay.
So please tune also.
Okay. I wanted to ask, why are we supposed to use live server if you can still copy the file parts from your index.html and paste it directly on your browser and still view your code? Is there any added advantage if you use the live server?
Okay, so let's just try out what you said now. So let's just try it out. You said we don't need to, why do we need to open the live server? Or you can just copy the URL for
the file part on your HTML page, your HTML file. Go back to your HTML file.
HTML.
Go to your VS Code. Yeah. Copy the part there. Copy part. And maybe open a new tab or something.
Zoom is just. Please. Okay, so basically this is working fine, right? Without opening the live server. I've not actually done that before. I think that was an additional knowledge. So you are right, you can actually paste the file parts, but I don't know if there's a side effect to this, or you can research more on that. There's going to be a side effect.
I think that the more you are adding codes to your VS Code, the thing won't be refreshing on its own.
Oh yeah, I think that's another thing. So there's a way you can also put your VS Code in autosave. Before anything can reflect on the browser, you have to do Ctrl+S, click on the space and Ctrl+S, like to save your file. But if you want to put it in autosave, you can just click on File up here and you look for autosave here. So because mine is in auto save, that's why it is checked, it is marked here. So you can click on it, then it should be set to auto save. But I think the best practice is to always open with your lifesaver. So as someone have said, it might not reload or be updated every time you change your code. So I don't know if that's fine.
All right. So I'll look into it later.
Okay, thank you. So I think all hands are down now. So Toby, are you there, please? So Toby will actually be taking a more advanced, like
Yes,
core
I'm here,
concept
please.
HTML. Okay, you're welcome. You might take
I'm
the
here, please,
stage
but
now.
I don't know if you can give me like few minutes. Well, 3 minutes.
Yeah, I
Or
have a
something.
question while we are waiting for that few minutes, please. This
Okay.
particular VS Code, the way this is the umbrella plate you called it, those beginning
Yes.
stuff. I'm having
Yes.
issue. I open my own VS Code. I type this shift one doc type HTML. I've selected it. You didn't even put it inside tag. Why is it not automating things like your own? It didn't bring out all those other things underneath, all the metal data on the head. It didn't bring all those things.
You created a new file like this. Let's say new.html.
Okay, this is your Explorer places. Where did you create how did you generate all these things, all those things on the tab for this Explorer? I don't have that one on my own.
Okay. No, these are just open editors. They're just what you have here. The editors you opened. But basically, you created a new file like this, and you started with this image, or more easier, this image is HTML5. I mean HTML. Then you choose 5, and it is not generating this for you.
Wait.
Is that what you mean?
This particular, yes, exactly. But this tab that is called new.html, it's because you created it at this column by the left side, isn't it?
Yes, I created this by clicking on this icon here, this new file icon.
Okay, but
Then
under that, I can see that you are having one HTML something before those icons. I can't find that one on my own.
don't worry about that. These ones are just open editors. Like editors that I've opened, I can cancel them now. They're just like editors that I've opened before. So if I open one again now, it will be added to the open editors. So that one is just like showing you the editors you've opened. It's just like VS Code. It's not affecting your code at all.
The things I'm seeing on my
Don't
own
worry.
is no folder opened, outline, timeline. These are the things I'm seeing on my own.
Did you open a folder when you created when you want to start? Did you create a folder and open it in your?
No, I've
That's where
not
I guess
done it.
you need to create a folder.
A folder.
You know how to create a folder on your computer?
Yes.
Okay, so after creating a folder, you can probably create your folder in your desktop, and then you right click, then you click on new.
Let me
So
say
after
the folder, I save it as indexed.
yes, then you save your folder as what?
Index, Abby.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I should save my folder as what?
From
You can actually save your folder with any name.
Okay, I'll save it as index.
Yes, then open it in your VS Code. To open it in your VS Code, you will see open folder, or you click on this file icon at the top, then choose open folder.
Okay, yes, I've seen it.
And so choose your folder and create a new file. So you can get back to me on it. So does anyone have any questions? We wait for Toby.
Please, I have a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
I saw Copilot. Is it free or paid?
Oh, okay. Don't worry about the Copilot. It's paid actually. It's not free. It's not
Oh,
free.
EP is done. It's done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
The Copilot is paid. I think GitHub. pilots.
Okay, yeah, I have a question.
$80 per month. Yes, can go ahead, please.
Yeah, in that those two images on that your HTML, that your web page. Yeah, how did you arrange the two of them to be on the same line?
Oh, that's automated by your HTML.
Okay.
So in HTML, we have some elements we call inline elements, and we have some elements we call block elements. So your inline elements would always be on the same row, like on the same line when you create them. But block elements, we take the second element following it to another line. So for example, now this image is an inline element. That's why it is taking the second image. They are both on the same line. Inline as in on the same row, on the same line. But
okay.
Yes, exactly. But if I put break in here now, BR, the line break I talked about earlier, BR in between the two of them, this will take this to another line. X how it works. Can you see that?
Okay.
So that break will surely break them into another line. So when you start doing CSS2, you can specify how you want your element to display. You can give your element a display value of block. So if it is block, that is, it will block other elements from being on the same line with it. But if it is display inline, they will be on the same line. So by default, image elements are inline elements. So that's why we have them on the same line. But you can break them to another line using your BR. That's a good question. I think, do you now understand why they're on the same line?
Please, I have another question.
Yes.
Okay, the inline element, what if you wrap it with a div? And the BR, does it have any attributes? Does BR element, do they have any attributes? Because I rarely see it in code.
You do what?
I mean the BR tag, do they have any attributes?
Yes, BR is just like a formatter. So when we go deeper, coming. For example, now we have what we call HTML formatters. So HTML formatters. So these formatters are just like I think W3 is supposed to have. They are used to format your text. So BR can actually be used to break your text into different lines, your elements into different lines. An attribute of BR is just like it has a display of block. When you put BR in between two elements, it's to give them a display of block, to block the second element from being in the same line it is. And it can be used inside your text. As you can see, we use it inside this paragraph, raw inside it, and it's broke this paragraph to another line. So an attribute of it is just like, it is called a line break. It will always break a line, separating it from other elements or other text on the same line. So that's why they call it line break, the BR. So I don't know if that covers that answers your question.
Yes, it does. I was just like, are we supposed to use BR, or maybe we can, is there any other thing to use, or we use BR like when we need to take to the next line?
Okay, basically for HTML, when you have not started doing CSS, you can use BR. So when you start doing CSS will allow you to structure, it will allow you to like edit the structure of your HTML. But right now you have not started CSS in this course, so you can always use BR. But by the time you start doing advanced CSS, most of the times you don't have to use BR. It's not very common, as you said. Yes, not very common.
But are we actually starting CSS today?
No. You are not starting CSS.
Okay, another question, please. The H1, H2, H3, H4 to H6. Do they, like, most times I see people use just H1 and H2, like H1, H2 mostly. So do they have any effects? Do you actually have to use them? Is there any advantage of using, because most people use one and like they can change the font size to whatever they need.
So you can always edit the font size anyhow, as big as you want or as small as you want with your CSS. So, but these are just to make your code semantic. So there's something we call semantic elements. So
What?
yes. Are you talking to me? So there's something we call.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Please, I'm having problems with accessing the VS Code. I've not seen how to open the. I've created a file already, but the thing is not opening.
Okay, I'm coming. So as I was saying, you can use H1 to H6 according to your preference. So if you feel you want your header to be big, you can use H1. But at the same time, you can CSS, when you start CSS, it will allow you to like style it to any font size you want. So it will allow you to like edit it to any font size you want. So that one is according to your preference when you start coding HTML and CSS.
Because
So
I heard somewhere that it for optimize for SEO, like if you use H1, I don't know why, but someone said if you use H1 and H2, like the SEO might be okay, like for Google search and the rest for the website and all.
exactly. So I was saying that when I said semantic HTML, when you use the right elements, okay, so when you use the right elements for each part of your code, it will make your website load faster. It will optimize your website. That is, the browser will be able to like recognize what each part is used for. Not that way you're supposed to use heading, you are now using paragraph, and using CSS to make it bigger, like an heading. The browser won't easily recognize that, okay, this is an heading. So the browser will always refer to it as a paragraph. But the only thing you did there was just the UI by changing the font size to a bigger one, like the heading. So you can use your CSS to make this paragraph as big as your heading, but that is not very advisable because, as you said, search engine optimization, SEO. So that's very important to make your website more accessible. Then it increases it fastens the loading time. So, any other question, please?
I'm sorry, but I might be jumping ahead, but I have a question.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, you can continue.
Yeah, I've been seeing tables. Tables on VS Code. What are they used for?
Okay. Tables in HTML.
Yeah.
Good. So tables are just like another aspect of HTML. So I don't know if you have seen it in the course uploaded on VS Code. So in a table, we have the table row, we have column, and sometimes we have the table data. So if you go to W3 schools right here, you can always see tables, HTML tables. Coming, I think it should be here. So I just want to show you an example of how a table look like. So this is a table right here. So this is what we mean by tables. So as you can see, this is something we all see every time. Probably maybe when you register for a course, even on your LMS, you can see a table right there on the dashboard. A table that shows the time for your live session, shows the the Zoom link, and the time, the course name, and all that. So those are examples of tables. All those tables are created using HTML. They are created using HTML. So this is a simple example of a table. So a table is initialized by saying table. So this is just telling your browser that, okay, we are about to create a table. So that's the elements in HTML, table. And inside table, we now have rows and columns. We have rows and columns. So in your row, for example, now this row right here is like the horizontal form. That is from your left to right, horizontal form. So your row is company, contact, country. So that's what they did there. You specify your table row, then those table row at the same time, we have table head. You can see that company is different from Alfred right here. The way company is highlighted is different from central or that one's there. Company is the head, is the table head. That is, okay, this is like the name of the section under company. So contact and country. So we have table head, we have table data. Table head, table data. So I don't know if Toby is not here yet. Table on his own is another complex. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, so I think Toby is here already. But tables, I'm going to be pasting this link now. If you can read through this page, although there are resources for it on your LMS already. There are videos and some other links, but you can check this out as well. You can check this out, this link. So, all right, I can see someone is already saying we should start the next class. Thank you. So thank you everyone for joining this session and for the good questions. I really appreciate that. So Toby, please, can take over.
Okay. Please, I would also, if you don't mind, you can also stay on the call because so that we don't have to record it. I don't know if that's fine. Steven.
Okay. You mean I should stay on the call? So we don't need to stop recording.
Yeah, but please, I would love you to give me access to share my screen.
Just give me a minute. I'm trying to.
Okay. Yeah, while you do that, let me just introduce myself. I'm Otene Toby, and I'm Toby, that's Toby on Slack, and I'm also known as Silver Codes. Maybe for those that have heard about me, I've seen some of my videos on Zuri. I'm Silver Codes.
Okay, so I think you can try it out now. You have access to share screen.
Yes.
Okay, please, one more thing before I leave. For everyone having problem with VS Code or code about what you've done, please, you can just reach out to me on WhatsApp. I hope that's fine. Thank you all.
Okay. For the course of this class, I will be going with WebStorm. So those who need to know how to navigate through WebStorm, and I know that one of the questions that was asked was how to do the shortcuts, that is Shift 1 Enter. Although the shortcut on WebStorm is actually quite lengthy and it's not as easy as it is on VS Code. But I could tell you that the interface of WebStorm to an extent looks better than VS Code. So let me go from the start. From the start. To create your shortcut on your WebStorm, you do Shift I. That's the first listing. That's the one, Shift 1. That's the exclamation mark listing. Then you tab Enter. You will have your shortcut. The Shift and the tab. So the Shift, then tab. That's all. You should have your boilerplate. So now, for today's class, what we'll be going through is HTML schematics. I saw that Steven, my colleague, mention about schematics, but in the course of this class, we'll be going deeply into HTML schematics. And I would say in HTML, we have schematic and non-schematic elements. And when I say schematic elements simply means elements with meaning. That's tags with meaning. So when I say tags with meaning, that's, for example, I have something like article. Article. This is an example of a tag that has a meaning. So if I actually go on this, let me the search click enter. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get the shortcut for this. So that you could read what they actually wrote. On VS Code, when you over on it, you would actually just get it. So, I'm trying to get this. Click or press. Click. No. Okay. The article HTML element represents a self-contained composition in a document. You could see this actually, examples include a forum or a magazine, newspaper, article, or blog entry. So when I say schematic, I mean elements that you could contain it to add a meaning. You don't just use, it's not advisable when you're creating your HTML element, that's your HTML file and content. Don't just use div for all your tags, that's for all your box or your parent container. I know one of the things that newbies and almost even senior developers do, they use div, but logically it would work, not that it will not work, but it is not advisable. The structure of its HTML to be readable, it helps to be readable, and also whenever anybody picks your code, the person will be able to understand what you're writing. So when going forward, another example of a schematic element is the form. A form is also an example of schematic elements. That is element with meaning. We have various examples of schematic elements. I would go into some of them. I will not actually would be going deeply into them, but I'll be teaching some of them. There's also a video that's going to be uploaded on schematic elements. Then example of non-schematic elements is the div that everybody uses. It's good to use, but is a non-schematic element. If I hover on this and I read it, you would see it's a generic container. It has no effect with the content layout style. It is a pure container. Element does not inherit, represent anything. Read this second paragraph. As a pure container, the div element does not inherently represent anything. So it's just used to group your file, your content. It does not have any meaning. So be it that you want to create a blog post or a blog kind of article that you are publishing, or you want to actually group comments, or you want to even create a form, or say you want to create a table, it's always advisable to use elements with meaning. And these elements are generic from the HTML itself, that's front end HTML file themselves. They are not formed, they're not formed elements. So don't think maybe you could, because you could use article, you could just think about something like post, or you could think about content. Those are not schematic elements. So even though if we see if I should change this element, if I should just change it, so let me just say I write post. If I hover on it, it's even telling me, giving me a warning, unknown HTML tag. It's showing me a yellow warning because it does not understand what it means. Yes, if I put this and I type something under, let's say hello, and I save, although one good thing about JetBrains, although VS Code also has it, it's auto-saved. It's auto-saved. So if I go back to my browser, this would automatically refresh. I don't know if I'm audible. Yes, schematic elements. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we can
somebody
hear.
asked the question. That's Shabby Manuel. Yeah, schematic elements. So going, you could see it gave me a write-up. Hello. Let me increase my screen. So hello is working. All these tags, if you write them, you just wrap them together. It will work. But the issue is that are they logically correct? Are they structurally correct? No, they are not. So it's always advisable whenever you're writing code, ensure you use the right tags, and also, if appropriate, if possible, to the large extent, try to use schematic elements to wrap whatever you need to do. Another good schematic element that is always being used, that is always advisable, is section. Section is also another type of schematic element. So be it that you are creating a website, one of the things you need to do before starting to create a website is section what you need to do. So let me go to Zuri.theme, for example. Let me say Zuri.theme. Oh, sorry. Zuri.theme. Yes. So when you are creating those kind of tags, you are expected to section them. Don't just jump to start writing code. Sectioning helps you read your code better, understand what you need to do, and how you could go about it. So just come in here and say, okay, the first thing that you have in here is an H1, then you have a text, then you have a this, and you have this, and you have an image, then you say you want to wrap them in a div. It's not usually advisable. It will confuse you as a beginner. So it's always advisable you go through it by sectioning them. So when I mean section, you could actually group this entire place, this image, this first category, this first place as a section. So if you have this as a section, you can even call, you should understand what it means by class and ID. This is a class that you would still be taught more about class and ID. There'll be video that will teach you more to understand what class is and what ID is in HTML. When I mean class, this is what I mean by class. You would have seen this when you write code. And when I mean ID, this is what we mean by ID. So there are two ways you could actually reference when you want to style three ways actually. If you want to style your elements, that HTML element, you either reference the parent name, which is something like this, or you reference the class, or you reference it by the ID. But this class will not be going deep into that. So for this class, it's just about the schematic and also some other topics below. Then, when you are sectioning, it's always very good to group them accordingly. So if you name this a class, you already understand, even though you don't come and read it, would understand what you want to do. So if I section this, I know that if I'm to create another section, this other part, I can also section it. Then because I've named it a class, it will be easier for me or anybody that wants to come and read my code to understand what needs to be done. Please give me a minute.
Lọ sọ fẹ́ náà pé please, if anybody can hear me, please, is this second lecture like this? The lecture is supposed to start by 7.
Yes.
Okay, but many people cannot access the lecture because we are using the same channel. So they cannot access this to LMS.
Are those people all on front end?
Yes.
It's the same thing that would have happened even if the lecture were to be 7 p.m. Also now. So they should tell them to check. Maybe we should even somebody should drop the message on front end channel that the class is for 7 p.m. continues.
I've done that already on Slack. But
Thank you.
some people we are thinking the class we hold by 7.
Yes, hello, sorry, I'm back. Another class will hold by 7. I'm not
Another
mistaken.
class will hold by 7?
Yes, and I will be taking that.
Okay.
Last evening class.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, so I'll be taking that. Sorry, I'm back. I had a knock on my door.
Thank you very much, sir, for the clarification. I think I gave a wrong info initially. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so continuing, we now have, like I said, it's always best to section whatever you need to create. Also, another schematic element I wanted to also know about is the header. This header, when you want to create an header, is always best. Let me get rid of this post, then we don't need it. Header is also another example of schematic elements. This is also a schematic element. Elements with meaning. The header element represents introductory content, typically a group of introductory or navigational aids. So header is another example of schematic elements. So when you're creating an header, it's best to group them. The major function of schematic elements is for you to understand and also be able to properly group your other elements, your tags. And every schematic element has a meaning and what they do. Section, the function of section is for you to group whatever you need to create. Then header is to group whatever is going to be on your header. Header and head in HTML is different. Head is always above the body, which holds your meta tag and also your title, then your link reference. Also, sometimes it holds your scripts. That's for head. Then header holds your navigation menus, your logo, be it just the way it is like this. So going forward, another example of schematic element is the nav. The nav, what I mean by nav, this particular section that you can see is grouped in a nav. It's grouped in a nav. Although when you start writing React, when you start going through other frameworks, you would not, most of them, you won't get to use what is it called the nav. But ideally, this is the proper way to write your code is always group your header, then your nav, then you can now have your A list, which is the A tag, which always have the href inside. So let me say hello as an example. This should actually come out as a link, underlined. Okay, href. So you can see this one already understands is tag. So there are various tags, schematic and non-schematic elements in HTML. One of the best way to understand and to be able to use these tags is one, there are two major resources where you could drive to see this. We have the W3 schools. W3 schools. Then we have you can type HTML schematic. Tags. If you don't use clean sheet, you can actually use clean sheet, or you can even try MDN doc. So this would give you more detailed stuff on schematic elements, the ones that you need to use, how to use them. So for HTML, to tell you some of the details on it, but not very, very like into. So you can see some of the schematic elements. You could see article, footer, you could see header, you could see form, you could see the nav I just spoke about. There are a lot of them. So one of the things that I used to advise newbie and even those that have started is try, even though you don't need it, check it, play around it. So just see how this is created, read a little about it, and you would understand more on schematic elements. Another of this part where you can actually check is, yes, W3 school, they also have list of schematic elements. So non-schematic elements, we have div, we have span. This does nothing. It's just to wrap content. It does not have any meaning about what you want to create. So it's just like an house. We have, house is a generic name, but we have 2-bedroom flats, we have different type of houses. So just take it as this div. Take the div as the generic name that all of us call an house. But we have different type of house, and we have to, because if you actually hear something like 2-story building apartments, you already understand it to be a 2-story building. So it has a meaning. House generally does not have a meaning. You just know that it is just where people stay. So that's just another way I can explain. So we have more schematic elements here. Scroll down. Yeah. And you could visit the tag reference to complete list of all available tags, just for the tags. And you could see some of the schematic elements here. So good. So the next thing we would be discussing about should be the tables. Should be tables, because that's one of the important things that I know that it was actually in the previous class. Somebody asked me about it. When you just start, is usually one of the first things that you would come across when you need to build. Okay, several tables. Even when you come to the board, this is actually a table. And when it means table, tables allow you to align your content. Normally, you have rows and columns. It aligns your content in a row and a column format. So that's why you could see all these are aligned. Also, section is aligned. The dates, everything is aligned. So it does not allow you to have your content in normal paragraph way.
Sir,
So
excuse me, sir.
what
Your
table
crack
just
is
help you to do is to arrange your content in rows and columns. Is somebody saying something? Okay, I think no.
for some minutes now, sir. You were cracking. It was actually skipping somehow.
Okay, but is it better now?
Yes, yes. Let's see it
Okay,
now.
great. So going for down table, like I said, table, what table allows you to do is it helps you to arrange your content or data in rows and columns to be readable and just to align them. Then an example of a table, this is an example of a table, like we could see. This is an example of a table. So every table usually consists of cells. And when I mean cells, this is actually a cell. Then cell actually has what is it called? Inside the cell, you usually have the row and the column in it. To create a table, let me comment this out. Like I said, schematic elements, control. Okay, yeah. To create I do this using, okay, on MacBook, you use command question mark. On Windows, you use your control, then the question mark. That's how you make comments. To create a table, like I said, the schematic elements to use while creating a table is called table. And if I hover on this, you would see what it should read out. A table element represents tabular data, that is, information presented in two-dimensional table comprised of rows and columns of cells containing data. So when you're creating a table, you should have a table row. And when I mean table row, I mean TR. All your tables must be wrapped in table rows. So TR is shortcut for table row. On typing that TR, then this first one, if you are creating a table head, it should be a T as it is. HTML is actually like English. It's just pure English. So with shortcuts, like pure English, then abbreviations. So table head, this is example of table head. So I can say name.
Hi, Toby. Sorry to interrupt you. We can't see your WebStorm page.
I don't know if I'm the only one. We can't see your screen.
You can't see my screen or just WebStorm?
Yeah, we can't see your WebStorm page. We can only see your Zuri board page.
Is it okay? Is it that it's not clear?
No, we can't see it. We are still.
We
No,
can't
the
see
screen
your.
you're
We can't
sharing
see your
on Zoom is not WebStorm.
VS Code. We can't see your VS Code screen. We are seeing Zuri board.
Okay. How about now?
No.
No, we are still on Zoom.
Yeah, let's go. Can you now see my screen?
No, sir. Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, we can see your screen. We can see it now.
Great. Let me remove this and come again. So like I said, table, when you create a table, is a schematic element. With the way the name implies, table is representing tabulated data. So then you always, when you are creating a table, your table should contain your table head and your table data. And everything you are wrapping your sectioning of tables, you need to wrap them in a table row. And when I mean table row, that is always TR. TR is your table row. So TR is your table row. Then when with all this thing that I've done, I've not written anything. So nothing will be displayed on my screen for now. Then on table row, then that's when you can now start sectioning what you need to create. That's a table head. So how many rows do you want to have? This is actually like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Although we're not creating as much as that. So to create that, I will just have my TH, which is my table head. Then I can say name. Then I don't want to like retype. That is what WebStorm does. It's a bit slow, but it's actually very efficient. So having this, I can say, what should I put? Age. Then the next one I can just put class. Let me go and view what I've done. So you should see 3 datas. Why is it empty? Okay, yeah. So you have your name, age, and class. Let me just do this for now. Okay, don't let me write any. I don't want to write any CSS or anything for now. So
I have a
having done,
question.
yes, please.
Hello, Toby.
Yes, yes, please go on.
Hello, Toby.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
I don't know. Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you quite well.
We can hear you.
Okay. Probably a network or mine. Okay, so
I have a
going.
question.
Okay, please go on. Please go on with your question.
Yeah, so my question is can you hear me?
Yes, I
My
can hear you.
question, my question is, how do you close like the code? So I used to think that if you want to close it, then you put that slash beside like at the, is it the left now? At the left, like after you've written the code, then you put the slash and you close it. So, but now I'm saying that you wrote the slash before the code or the title of the code that you want to write or something. So, like, does this mean that you've closed it too, or what does this mean? This slash before
this one? You mean this?
Did you get my question?
You mean this?
Yes, the slash, like when you when you want to quote, like you open the brackets, then you put that slash. The slash is that this slash before the table after you open the brackets.
Okay. Yes, this part means closing. This means closing. The backslash always means closing. It means this is closed. We have closed. We have open tag. We have self-closed tag in HTML. But so I don't will not go deep into that. There should be a video that will be posted on that. While I want to create this, what I just do is create my th, then this, so it self-closes itself. On closing it, this comes along with it. I don't know if I was able to answer your question. If no, please, maybe you should explain again.
Okay, so so you mean that if I put the slash before the code is also closed, Abby? Like that means I've closed the code, Abby?
You don't put slash before the code.
So it can be before or after. It can be before and after the code.
It has to be after. When I mean slash, this slash,
yeah.
This is slash, right? This slash, you know what you mean by slash, right?
Yes, yes.
It always comes after. This is actually when you're closing what you have created. I don't know if that.
Okay. I understand you now. Yeah, I get you now.
Okay. So having done that, now I've created my table A.
Okay, thank you.
This is stick. This is stick. You see the difference between table data and table head. So let me create my table data. Table data is actually the content inside the table. So that's TD. That's TD. With the name implies, the TH is table head. Oh. While the TD is table data. The TR is table row. So TD, I can put Toby. Then I can put another TD and just target, let's say 20. Then let's say class TD. Let's say JS1. You will see the difference in this now. You can see this is thick, while this is light. While it is thick, is actually, it understands the TH saying this is the heading, just as you would see on Storyboard. You could see this is the heading, which is thicker. This is the heading, while these are data inside each heading. So one of the things you could also do with this table data is you could, if I let me duplicate this, you don't have two table head on the this thing. Yes, it would work. Let me show you, but it is wrong. So let me duplicate this first one first. Let me duplicate the table head first. So let me just paste Ctrl X and let's see what happens. You can see, yes, it's going to work. It's going to show, but now you're having two tick data, which you're not expected to have two heading. So if you want to have more, it's best to just add more table head like this, so that they can be on the same row. So I'll just remove this, and instead I would create more table row, that's table data. I can copy this, paste, add more, paste. Let me just change the name. Yeah, let me just save this and you'll see. So, and one thing about table head that I have not mentioned is table head is always aligned to the center. Table head is always aligned to the center. And one of the things I would show you, let me get that. So you could see this is aligned to the center. Then you could also add borders to table. Our class is actually almost very over. We have just less than, we have 2 minutes now from close. So let me just take a few questions. Next class, that's going to happen by 7 o'clock. We'll discuss more on this table. The one thing I would want everybody to do is please try to watch the class on table before Thursday. Yeah? Hello?
Yeah, we get you.
Noted.
Okay, I think
Hello.
Sorry, I have one more question. What's the meaning of TRTHTD?
stable rule. TR
Okay,
means stable rule.
table row. Then
Yes.
TH is table head.
Teach means stable, yes, stable head. Then TD means stable data.
Okay.
Yeah, real question.
I don't know if you understand me.
Okay, like there is no table column.
No table column.
Okay.
I have a question.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm trying to get familiar with WebStorm environment. What was the shortcut you used to get the HTML boilerplate?
Okay, to get the HTML boilerplate, let me just first of all pass you this, but I'll take it back. It's just do your Shift I, then press Tab. Your normal Shift 1, your normal, you are using VS Code, Shift 1, then press your Tab. That's with the HTML boilerplate. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, all right. No,
I have a question.
No, TD is table data. Table data is usually used after you've declared your table head. And what I actually just did now, I added a width of 100%, so you could also see some of the difference of table head and table data. Table data are always left aligned unless you want to restyle, while table head are usually centered aligned. So let me continue with the question. So you can take questions like 610.
I have a question. Just two questions.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, Mr. Omotaya, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, I have two questions. About that table head and table row and table data. So
Yeah.
my question is, every code that we're going to write, is it like within those two, within that like for instance now the table head, there are two things that will appear, which is the starting and the ending of the table head. Is it in the middle?
Yeah.
We write our code in the middle of them both, like within the, and is it for all the headings, all the tables in general? And again, sorry, and my second question is, can these codes and shortcuts be used in VS Code?
Yes, you can use this code on VS Code.
Okay.
Like I said, I started my own development with Atom, Sublime Text, and what is it called? Terminal. So your ID does not really matter. What matters is what you can do. ID does not matter. So
Okay.
for your first question, please can you repeat your first question?
Yeah, my first question is about that table. So
Yeah.
those table codes you use, which is the table data, table head, and table row. Yeah, the code that you're meant to write, like maybe for instance that table head. Now, for you to like get your code, like the name, what you wrote about the name, age, and something like that. Would it be in
Okay.
the middle, like in the middle now of this code, of their code of the table head? You know that there are two things that will appear, which is the table head and the table head ending. Like that's the ending here, as you pointed it out there. Now, my question is, that same format, is it the same format for the rest of those tables?
Yes, it's the same format, but table head is
Okay.
actually going to be creating a table on that table. You use the
Okay.
TH for one table, that's the table head.
Okay, it should be on that table, Abby. On that
Yes,
table.
it's on that table. Everything is going to be under this table. Everything
Okay,
you
and
do is under this.
and it goes to the rest of those other tables too as well, Abby.
This table, you just need one table for a table. If you are sectioning a table, you need just one table. You can have multiple TR, but when you are doing TR, it's actually taking the role. That's what role you are taking. You can put as many as possible. But if you are creating under table data, your TD must be equivalent to this number. Or when you style it, you can actually increase the column. You can have one this thing and increase the column, which is what we'll discuss even much later.
All right.
So in this case, we have 3, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yes, sorry.
Yes, sir, please. I just have a suggestion, sir.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if we can just subscribe to raising, to implement raising of AND system so that it can allow you to call any individual by name before speaking. I think that one can prevent multiple people from talking at
I
the
can't
same
hear
time.
you again.
What I was trying to say that I was just suggesting maybe we can implementing a raising of AND system.
Okay.
So that it can allow you to call any individual by name before speaking. So I think that will prevent many people from speaking at the same time. Because I've been raising up my things and I think you didn't notice that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I think that's better. So one other thing that we can do again is maybe after this class ends, I'll be on Slack. So I'll create a thread where you can ask your questions regarding this. So I'll answer every question there while we wait for our 7, I don't know if it's 7 or 8 o'clock, the class. I would need to confirm that if it's 7 or 8.
It's 8. It's
7.
7 for today.
It is 7.
7 p.m. today.
It's 7 o'clock.
Yes.
Yeah,
7
it is
o'clock.
19. So, yeah.
Okay. Okay, 7 o'clock. So I would
And
need to
so
check that.
also, can this class be recorded and be posted to our Slack front end
Yes, it is recorded.
group?
I think
Yes,
it is recorded.
like the link
Aside
should just
Steven
be
stopped
like,
recording.
after the class, it should be sent to our Slack end group, front end group.
I'll check about that, but
It
I'm
should
not
be
quite
on
sure.
YouTube already.
It should be on YouTube, but I'm not quite sure if that will be sent. So, but maybe
I
from
don't
YouTube,
think
you
it's
can
on
send the link
YouTube.
to the
Because the
chat.
YouTube phone is, they actually bring
Yeah.
out a lot of things from past years, and I don't want to get mixed up. So I just want a link that will direct me forward to this, to this lecture, so I can.
Normally, it is posted on your
Sure.
LMS and on YouTube.
It's
Okay.
posted in LMS. Okay.
Okay, I don't know. Is anybody still raising their hand, or we can just call it a day and move to the next class? That's 7 o'clock. Okay, guys.
Is it the same link?
No question. I think the link should be shared. It should probably be the same link.
Thank you very much, Toby, for the great section.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Toby.
Thanks for the lecture.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye everyone.
Thank you for the lecture, Toby.
Bye.
Nothing is